Next year's election will mark America's 60th presidential contest. President Joe Biden, a Democrat, is seeking re-election and launched his campaign last month. But the question which still remains unanswered is, who will be the Republican candidate to challenge the incumbent president for the White House race? As the race for the White House heats up, former Vice President Mike Pence has also filed his paperwork. Pence will kickstart his campaign in Iowa on a video on Wednesday, and a Republic meeting as well. Pence is a staunch conservative from Indiana, an ardent opponent of abortion. He has been crisscrossing the country in recent months, speaking in many of the states seen as the most consequential in the Republican nomination race. As he declares his candidacy for the 2024 elections, he will be running for the White House. Donald Trump is the clear frontrunner in an increasingly crowded field seeking the Republican presidential nomination. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis also launched his bid for the hot seat. Pence will try to emerge from the former President Trump's shadow. After years of unwavering loyalty to Donald Trump, the former Vice President Pence has been at loggerheads with Trump now. He refused to go along with Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 election results and remain in power. That's where the rift came in. In remarks at the annual Gridiron Dinner in Washington in March, Pence said history would hold Trump accountable for his role in the Capitol riot. Pence added that Trump was wrong and said, and I'm quoting, "I had no right to overturn the election." In April, he even testified in the federal investigation that was examining Trump's role in the assault on the Capitol, one among the many legal cases which the former president is facing now. With Mike Pence joining the race for the White House in the coming days, former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie is also expected to join the race. Christie was a former close associate of Trump, but has been sharply critical of the former president over the assault on the U.S. Capitol and his refusal to concede the 2020 election. All right, for more updates, our correspondent Susan Tehrani joins us live from New York. Susan, Mike Pence's nomination, will it add a new dynamic to the presidential race in the GOP?
It's very interesting. There are some that believe Mike Pence is an old school conservative, if you may, and he'll have a lot of support with evangelicals on the one hand, and on the other hand this is what they say, he has a vision of America that's closest to, for example, former President Ronald Reagan, which is very traditional again. However, the question is whether or not, as you mentioned, Mike Pence would be successful in the political climate that we are today and not years ago, 30, 40 years ago, when Ronald Reagan was in power. I think what's very also interesting to note is that in a recent Quinnipiac poll that was conducted, 33% of Republicans said that they had an unfavorable view of Mike Pence as compared to 11% Donald Trump, 5% Ron DeSantis, and around 3%, or excuse me, 12%, which was Nikki Haley. And one of the reasons for that was exactly one of Pence's claims to fame, and that is he didn't go along with Donald Trump in not certifying the elections back in 2020. And this caused a lot of anger among Trump's staunch and most ardent supporters. So whether or not he'll be successful in launching a campaign that will go far in the long run, as he tries to convince Republicans and the country that, one, he's not Donald Trump, despite the fact that he was his president, and two, he's not very controversial and he doesn't have a lot of pizzazz to his character. Is that a candidate right now that can run in such a polarized country and polarized race? We'll have to wait and see.
Thank you for all those updates, Susan. That was Susan Tehrani, my colleague, joining in from New York.